Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Power Talks for Remarkable Females. Today, we are going to talk about our network or community of support, the people around us, the people that have our back. And we all have that, and we all sometimes even very intentionally build that. But do you know the worth of your network? Do you know the value of your network? And if you do you activate that? Do you really validate that? I'm not sure I always do that. And a lot of us are like, what is this? And how is this going to happen? Don't worry. You are in a very good spot because today we are here with Molly Trotter. And Molly is the co founder of Kingdom Alliance International. She's a speaker, a trainer. She's a co creator of programs. She's a former television news anchor. And she is here with me. I'm so thrilled to share her experiences with what it is to build that network and to validate it. Molly, welcome. I am so happy and super stoked that you are here.
Thank you so much for having me. I love that we are just spanning over so many different countries right now, being able to serve people, especially with this topic, grow your network to increase your net worth, because I think most people are intrigued by that and they want to know more.
Yeah, absolutely. And we are going to give them what they need to know. And for everybody listening in or watching this right now, you are very, very welcome to participate or to contribute. So if you have questions, if you have feedback for me or for Molly, then just put it in the chat, put it in the comments, and we will deal with it. Even if you are watching or listening into this with a delay as a recorded version for the replay, then just put your questions in the comment box and we will monitor it and we will get back to you. So let's get started, Molly. Where do you want to start?
Gosh, we can go in a bunch of different directions. I always think, kind of building context and having a little bit of background of, why can somebody even speak on this topic is always a great start, just because anybody
Mhm.
can come on and say, I'm an expert here, but how? Why? Where did it come from? And that could just be me. I love context, but I do think it helps paint the picture a little bit if you'd like to start that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Well, I would say, long story short, because we all have
Mhm.
quite a bit of past, and not everything from our past gets to come into the present, but there are key moments that have really brought us to the place that we're at right now. And one of those moments for me was being a news anchor and reporter. I got into that to really tell people stories and give the underdog a voice, and until I realized, well, they don't really care to do that. They just want to be able to just put out doom and gloom, is what I used to say all the time. Just it's always negative, and negative news attracts attention because people want to be in the know just in case it impacts them. And I was just tired of being that person that always perpetuated
Mhm.
that negative news. I didn't like it at all. So I was in the industry for about 5 years. I learned a ton. It gave me a lot of really great speaking experience. And I mean, if you think of it this way, there's breaking news. They have to send somebody out there to go cover it. And you might think that you might have a cameraman and this big setup. When I was in the news, and I know it's the same now, if not even worse, you're by yourself and you have a machine that can
Oh,
go live, and you're having to, set up the shot with your camera and know what to say. And, there's all this chaos ensuing around you, if not even a dangerous situation. And you're trying to just get the facts out in 15, 30, or 60 seconds. So it really taught me to think on my feet, gathered what was necessary, and I messed up plenty of times on live television. So even my career as a speaker coach, I'm like, trust me, I have messed up more times than everybody combined, because I would go live every single day, several different times, dozens, if not even more, hundreds sometimes, depending on the story and how long I was working that day, if it was a big enough one. So there's a lot when it comes to just that speaking side of things. But when I realized that wasn't for me and I got out of the industry, I realized I don't want to work for anybody else anymore. I want to do
mm,
my own thing. And I didn't know what that would be. So I dabbled in network marketing, got my toe wet with, really simple business model that helps people low overhead, jump into something that you love. And it's just word of mouth marketing, which I still firmly believe is the best form of marketing still today, because people want that personal testimony. Network marketing led me to digital marketing, where I learned how to help other coaches build and scale their business through an agency that my now brother-in-law, he owns. And when I was helping these coaches really build and scale their programs, I kind of looked internally and I said, hey, you have a skill set that people need, because every single coach or anybody who wants to promote anything and earn a living or even a part-time income from it, they need to learn how to speak effectively and communicate effectively. So I ended up putting coaching programs together. And I mean, I love being able to help people really like zone in and know what they need to say to be able to share their expertise and, who they are, like show some personality as well, because a lot of people have things for sale, but they really do buy the person. And we're going to get into that a little bit later when it comes to really growing your network, and how you can do it that can stand out above the rest, because there's a lot of same old same that's out there. We'll kind of wrap it up here. From the digital marketing age and having my own coaching company, I really wanted to scale in a big way. But when you scale, there's obviously things you have to delegate. There's cost, there's time, there's all of that. I am a big person of faith, and God had a different plan in mind. So we ended up in 2020. I got brought on board to create a company. And at the time, our focus was personal and professional development. And then we added on the network marketing model just to give people an opportunity to grow, and they don't have to break the bank, because sometimes coaching can be a little expensive. And the company has morphed into other things where it can help people really focus on building a life around things that matter most, whether it's growth, travel, and just being able to not have to, let me check with my bank account to see if I can do this thing that I've always wanted to do. So life has led me on a variety of different tracks and journeys, but all of which, every single piece, I had to get out there, talk to people, grow my network. But then as I grew as a professional, I really learned how to leverage that to grow my net worth, but all the while serving people. And so that's what we'll get to talk about here today, is how we can do that in a way that it really aligns with you and developing connections with other people, because that's what our human desire is to have those connections and really serve people in any way that we can. So that is a little bit of my background and what led me here today.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Molly, for sharing. And if you are not a coach, or you're not like in the entrepreneurial side, don't run away, because building your network and growing value from your network is not only for entrepreneurs, it's also for executives. It is so important to understand that if you want to build a career, if you want to move forward there, if you want to be implied in important projects, and no matter what level you are on, your network will make that happen. If you do not have your relationships, if you do not have sponsors, if you do not have people that understand what you do and who you are and are having your back, then it will be a very, a hard struggle. Like also for entrepreneurs, it's very difficult to do everything on their own. We absolutely need that network. We need, like you say, Molly, that human connection. So stick with us, because this is not only for coaches or entrepreneurs that are serving. It is for everybody that wants to create and to manifest something, right? Yeah,
that's
beautiful.
Right.
So how do you start? Because we all have a network. We have our communities, we have our families, we have friends, we have colleagues, but that's not like building intentionally to grow your network. So how do you start with an intentionally effective, efficient network in order to interact in a way that not only they move you forward, but that you can also move them forwards, because it's something it goes both ways, right?
Yes, absolutely. It totally goes both ways. One of the biggest conversations I think that people have, I would say, especially within the last couple of years, but especially this year, I've heard it talked about more often than not, is your brand. There are a lot of people that, in the C-suite, executives that are also building their brand. My husband is in media, and he's working with a lot of people that are in the executive and C-suite that are understanding when you build that personal brand, even though you're going to have, professional aspects to it, it's not enough just to have a title in a certain area of expertise in a school, in a business, whatever it may be. It's deeper than that. People want to connect with the other individual. And that's where you have to start is, are you building a brand that people even want to be a part of? Because it's not enough of just, okay, I'm going to go, apply for this job, or I want to invest in this company, or choose this path, and that happens to be your path. They want to know the individual behind it, because there's a lot of good talkers out there. But now, a part of the buying process, or even just joining and aligning, do I believe in this cause or this matter? It really, like, who is the head of it, or who is a part of it, and do I align with that person? And so personal brands are becoming a really, really big thing. And a lot of people who've tried to push off the social media, like, as much as they can. I don't want to build this brand, or I don't want to have to post all day. You don't have to. I mean, there's so many great agencies that are out there that can help you with that. But the point is that you have to look at social media like you're a billboard, right? If the billboard's
Mhm.
always going to be up, whether you're, doing something to it or not, people are going to see it. So building a brand that people want to be a part of, they want to get to know you. Doesn't mean you have to share all the nitty gritty details. I know we all have
Mm.
people that we follow that were like, you probably didn't need to share that part. And I would never want to share those types of things. But things that build into your character, your story as to why you're there, people love the story. And for me,
Yeah.
being a news anchor till now, that was one of the things that I absolutely loved, is telling the story. And we all watch
Mm.
stories all the time that we're invested in, right? We love the underdog story. We love watching Netflix or whatever streaming platforms and movies and TV shows. We love following stories. Well, social
Mhm.
media is basically our show, right? It is our
Yeah.
series. What do you want to show people? That's going to draw people in. So what you put out there, you have to think about who is that audience you want to speak to, right? Whether you're
Mhm.
looking at clients, you're looking at investors, you're looking at people to align with the vision, whatever that may be, whatever brand you're trying to build, personal, professional, a mix of both. What you put out there is going to be the type of people that you attract. So you really have to know even who you're speaking to as well. So knowing what that
Mhm.
brand is, who you want to speak to, and consistency really does matter. And I think a big
Mhm.
misconception that people have is they think they should just know, and it should just be something that they should be able to do naturally, and it just comes out. Most people can't. So it's okay if it takes a little bit of time to drill down deep of who you're speaking to. And that may change and shift along the way. But it starts with you
Mhm.
being able to put a message out there that people could then attract to. But then on top of that, you have to have that consistency factor. But nothing will get more attention to your stuff more than either whether it's yourself or you have a team on behalf of your brand on that front facing piece of going out there and connecting with individuals on the back end to really be able to build your network. Having connection
Yeah.
calls, like strategic, okay, I know this person could be a client, or they might be somebody I align with. You never know who they're connected to. And that piece right there, you never know who somebody's connected to. That is the number one gold nugget that I have found. Is I'll connect with people and I'm not really sure, hey, what am I getting out of this? Or what are they getting out of this? But all of a sudden, you need to connect with so-and-so. And that was the person, that was the missing link that I needed, or the one that
Mhm.
sent me into this new direction. Or, and I mean, there's so many different things that can happen from your network. So I'll kind of take a pause
Yeah.
there to see if you have anything that you'd like to say on that, because I can keep going on and on. But it does start there. And a lot of people still aren't doing that or taking it seriously,
Absolutely.
when we're in a day and age that your brand really does matter to really elevate what you're doing to that next level.
Yeah, it so resonates to me, Molly. Not that many years ago, I had my website, my corporate website, and I was in a group, it was a retreat, and somebody said to me, she was in marketing, and she said, "Well, I watched your website." I said, "Oh, really? What did you think of it?" Because I made it myself. And she said, "Well, I kind of liked it. But where are you on this website? I don't see you. This is a corporate website with services and recommendations and things like you, but there's nothing about you." I said, "Yeah, well, I rather hide behind my services." That was like 8 years ago or 10, well, maybe 10 years ago. Can you imagine? And I said, "Well, I don't feel so confident to do that," things like that. It took me a while. I have now my helenademuynck.com website, but it took me a while in order to do that, to really show up, and just put myself out there, because a lot of us have to find this courage and kind of confidence to put yourself out there, because we live in, especially with social media, we live in a very judgmental um,
Yes.
environment and area. And basically it's not like Tinder where people swipe, but sometimes it feels like it. Yeah. It's like, not like, not like. And this is something that we shouldn't take personal, because it's the process of the people receiving or watching or looking at these things. But still, it is very, for some people, it's very, very scary. So building that brand and putting yourself out there, I believe that we can do that step by step. And LinkedIn, for example, or Facebook or Instagram, depending what you are doing and what is like what you feel best with, are the platforms that you really can do this step by step. You don't have to go all the way immediately, but start doing things there. That's one. But then, and this is where you are ending with, you can put yourself out there, but as long as you don't say what you offer or who you serve or what you need, again, people will not relate, people will not interact, right?
Yes.
And when you say connecting people, you can only connect people if you understand what they do, how they can serve, and also what they need, so they can, support each other. And those are things that sometimes we're not clear of, especially entrepreneurs. More and more, there should be, depending on their stage of maturity, but especially also executives. Like, okay, what is it that we have to offer? And that's not your resume. That's not ticking the boxes of a job spec. It's about your value. How do you contribute? How do you add value? What's your vision? What's your vision on the world? What's your vision on your industry or on your organization? And then also being very, very aware of what is it that you need and who could help you, and ask those questions. Does that make sense, Molly?
Yes, and I love everything that you're saying. This is like so great to add this into the conversation, because I do see so many people hide behind their business, their services, their products, but people want the personality. Like they want to see the person. Not saying you have to have a big old personality, because there's different personalities that connect with different ones, but being able to share who you are, like you said, the vision. I love being able to talk vision with people, and so many people, they just kind of keep downplaying for whatever reason, whether they're nervous that somebody might judge them, or there's a lot of fear and nerves, like you were sharing, that go behind all of that. But the best thing that you can do is, if you really want this to be your thing, whatever it is that you're doing, and you want to give it its best effort, like being able to put some stuff out there. Again, it doesn't have to be the deepest, darkest secrets, but let people know what you do. Let people know how it works. Let them know the vision behind it, where you would like to see it this time next year. It doesn't mean that it's necessarily going to come to fruition or can exceed that. But when you put that out there and you're talking vision, you're talking future, people get excited and they want to align with people who have like big goals in a big future, because people are always looking to be a part of something bigger. And people that are obviously, what's the word I want to put behind it? They just have a kind of like a contagious energy of like, I want to work with that person. And I may know 60 people that do branding, but I want to work with this individual for the simple fact of I like them. They have good energy. They have good, they're fun to be around. Like they're a good person. And people check these off in their own mind. And so that really does matter, because it helps you stand out from the rest, rather than just kind of posting something out there. And I see this a lot too for professionals across the board. They post something out there and they kind of expect it to be like a fly trap, and people are just going to come being like, I want your service and I need this thing. And that can happen, right? Like it's the right place, right time. I'm a huge proponent of that. However, taking it a step deeper, like consistency breeds credibility, and you're going to breed more credibility, not only if you're consistently posting, but if you're consistently throughout the week making connections with other people, because you never know. And then you're going to want to qualify these people, of course, like if they're going to be a person you even want to talk to. So you have to set up those qualifications. If they're going to be a good fit for your business or the next thing that you need in your organization. But the credibility also comes of you actually taking that next step and reaching out, whether it's you or maybe you delegate that to somebody on your team. Building that rapport really does matter, because when you do that, you go from, we'll take the branding, say somebody's a branding expert. There's hundreds and thousands of people that are branding experts. But if you add that extra personality, you just got bumped up the chain. If you do those reach outs and you set up a call to get to know them, you just got bumped up the chain. And if you really actually want to connect with people on these calls and you take time to do that, you never know, if they really are looking for some, like the thing that you have, you never know. but B, you never know who they're connected to. And that's the biggest part about growing a network, is you can be one person away from drastically changing your life. I've gotten on plenty of networking calls where I'm like, well, nothing really came from that, but you never know what can happen in the future. But because I took the time and because I got to know people, certain people that nothing came from it, connections that they have sent my way, and because of the good rapport that I've built, AI can't do that. Bots can't do that with messaging. That has set me up for success in so many different areas, whether it's my own business, me personally. Even I found my husband through a random social media reach out. And then I was speaking at an event and he was there, and the rest is history. Investments and different things of that nature. So anything's possible if you network.
Yeah, I love that, Molly. And also what I hear very often, I work with women, and this intentionality sometimes is translated to, it's very transactional. It's like you connect with people with a goal. And then I say, yes, but this is going a little bit against our feelings of inclusion and solidarity and friendship and kindness. And then I say, but it doesn't have to exclude. I mean, you can have both. And there's nothing against building a network with people that might not be relevant for your brand or for your career or for your professional aspirations. And that's perfectly fine. And at the same time, you can build a network like that. And it doesn't leave out the friendships and kindness and reciprocity and
Yes.
generosity. It's just that it is different. And it is a little bit of a mindset shift for a lot of us. Like, we do this intentionally in order to move our businesses and their businesses further. And I think if we add that it's something, there's this reciprocity, then it makes it a little bit easier for a lot of women. But like going out there, putting yourself out there, making offers or telling people what you do, how you serve, asking money for that, which is another scary thing for a lot of us, and that's the reality. Telling what you need, these are all things that feel very good. To do that outside the comfort of our really trusted inner circle. And so it's finding that balance. It's like you already said, Molly, we don't have to give everything away. We don't have to put everything on social media. It's just showing enough so people can understand what you do, what you're standing for, what is your vision, and they can relate with you. And like you say, it's the know, like, and trust. And then if it is in business or if it is in like promotions or in hiring, it's to know, love, and trust. Really understand what you are standing for and how you can bring value to whatever venture that is in the picture. But it's something that I feel a lot of us are struggling and are very reluctant to do, because it's like something transactional, and it's not right. How can we put something additional to it that it changes that feeling or that perception? What would
That
be
is
your
That is a great question, because I know a lot of people feel that way because, okay, deep down, back of the mind, end goal, I would love to have more clients in my business. More clients means more money. More money means I get to pay for X, Y, and Z, have some freedom. And, you've already assigned the money to certain things, right? So it's when you start, or even if you're at that point where money is still hard to ask, like, here's the cost, here's the price. Remember that yes, you have a place for that, but you're dealing with a person first. So when you can
Mhm.
be present in that moment, and I actually have an academy that we've put together in our company called Grow Your Network to Increase Your Net Worth. So we talk about this a lot in our company because I've done so many personal different business ventures, or I've learned a flow to really be able to have that person be the focus. I genuinely want to know, why are you doing what you're doing? What is it that you do? Who are you looking for? Because you never know when you come across someone and who can be a great fit for them. So when I lead with that, and a lot of this academy talks about leading the conversation, which I know can be scary for people because they're like, how do I do that? I've mapped out certain scripts to show them, here's how you can lead and just be intentional to really pull and get some good information from them. People love talking about themselves, what they do, all the above. B, it doesn't feel so transactional, but the way you get to not feel transactional is just by doing it more. And then honestly, I just did a lot of self-auditing. Did I like did
Mhm.
that feel good? Did that feel icky? How did that person feel on the back end? I've even asked people like, how was that experience for you? Give me feedback,
Yeah,
raw feedback.
yeah.
And I know that can be scary sometimes to ask for that, but for people that you feel comfortable with, hey, can you give me some raw feedback? I would love. And I did that a lot in the beginning because I
Mhm.
wanted to know how it was I being perceived. But a lot of people don't go there because they're like, well, I don't want to mess up. What if that could be, I tell people, you know how many deals I have lost? Probably millions of dollars worth of deals because I had to start somewhere. And you have to start with something on the line. You can practice all you want, but practice doesn't mean anything until you get into the game and you really try it for real. And when you lead with your
Mhm.
heart of like, okay, I really want to get to know this person and put them first because I know what I have is valuable. And you ask yourself this question: if anybody is to write anything down, um, of any part of this live, it's this question right here. And this has made me a lot of money. And it's also really helped open up to just a lot more of my network growing, but then also net worth growing as well. As you're sharing what it is, you'll have a time where you get to speak, you get to share what you do, what you're excited about, what you're passionate about. And as you share kind of what that piece is that they can opt into, this question right here. I'm not sure if that resonates with you or someone that you may know, but if it does, I would love to send a quick resource. Here's what that
Mhm.
does. Here's what that does. Instantly, the wall comes down. It comes down of like, okay, they're sharing this information. I'm asking myself, does it resonate with me? Maybe, maybe not. Now she's saying, is it somebody that I know? Does somebody that I know, could they use this? I'm happy to send a quick resource because that's one of the hardest pieces, right? People are like, okay, no one's asking for the link or the resource. But when you ask it in a way where it's inviting and it's opening up, it may not be for you, but could be for somebody else. Psychology for people would say, well, how do you know it's not for me? Let me take a look. Let me take a
Mhm.
look. So I want to invite you to that question for anybody because that drastically changed how I was able to serve people, drastically changed sales, enrollments, whatever your model is as far as your business goes, clients. It drastically changes because it goes from the mindset of I'm here to serve. And yes, there is something for sale, and I'd be happy to give you that information. And then
Mhm.
understanding, of course, your value and how you're giving it comes at a price. And we don't have to feel guilty, whether it's hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Just I hope, because I've met a lot of coaches where they don't have the value to back it up. I hope you have the value to back it up, whatever it is that you're charging. And I'm sure that you do because somebody needs what you have out there. It's just a
Mhm.
matter of not being afraid to open up that conversation. And then, like we talked about with the brand piece, when you're showing them kind of who you are on that back end, that allows them to see, hey, this is a real person with a real thing. They're not just another Joe Schmo trying to sell me on X, Y, and Z. They actually care. And people are really looking for that on social media these days, and even in person. It's easier to show that in person if you're more of an, you want to do networking and different things in person. I love both. But at the end of the day, I want to, I mean, for lack of a better term, uh, convict them on the spot of like, this is who I am. I don't need to convince you this is who I am. I want you to immediately have that conviction of like, this is just who she is. She really wants
Yeah,
to serve. This is what she's about, whether it's for me or not, this is where
exactly.
she's at. So
It's a yes or a no. It's about clarity that it works or it doesn't work. And if it doesn't work, it might be that it's not the time yet or that they don't need it, in general. But it is about clarity, right?
yes.
Very good. Molly, we are receiving some love here. I see some hearts popping up or
Thank
that were
you.
popping up. And we have here Maria that says, so good, Molly Trotter-Gomez. We're talking to a person first. I always feel seen and heard with you.
Aw,
Wonderful. That's
thank
beautiful.
you,
That's
Maria.
beautiful. Yeah, that's walk the talk. Beautiful. Yeah. So and Sheila's here also. Hi. So anybody listening in, if there's anything you want to share with us or you have a question
Yeah.
or you feel like, yeah, easier said than done, but this, but that, just bring it in the chat,
Yes.
bring it in the comments, and we will be more than happy to work with you. Yeah, absolutely. So what's next, Molly? What's the next step?
Gosh, well, I mean, that question right there, I hope you wrote it down. But for those that are like, I didn't write it down, what is it? When you are on these calls and you're sharing, or even if you're in person sharing, what it is that you do, One of the things I love walking people through, we won't have a ton of time to do that here today, is just, okay, what do I say when it comes to what it is that I do? Because how I talked in the beginning, when I shared my story, typically when I share my story, I can get my story out in less than like 60 seconds. And that has taken time and practice. With the profession that I've had and just being a on-camera confidence coach is what I used to call myself before we opened up our company, Kingdom Alliance. I've practiced so many times of getting things down short and sweet because people's attention spans are short. And if you can share a little bit about your background, what it is that you do, and then you tack on the question, I'm not sure if that's for you or somebody that you may know, but if so, I'd love to share a quick resource. You have that invitation to then, because it's a question, right? So they have to respond, because I always like to look at loops. They don't want the loop open. They want it to be closed. So they will respond yes or no. No is a great answer, by the way. No is a great answer. A lot of people take that really personally, but it's a great answer. So when we do that, like, those are key pieces to get the conversations flowing. But as you are continuing to talk to people, a big part is, yes, you need to go out there, make connections, however many you can do throughout the week, whether it's maybe 5 new conversations a week, 3, for people that I know in coaching and network marketing and, the online space, they do, sometimes dozens a day, new connections, and they're booking calls. Like, it depends on what your business model is. At the end of the day, the biggest key piece that's also going to add value into somebody, of course, not only they can read your information, but it's really having that extension. I love what you shared with me. Who are some great referral partners for you? Like, who is somebody that if I come across this person, what are some key things to write down? So obviously you'll want to know what these key things are, like, is there a certain gender, age bracket? What are their likes? What is their industry? What are they looking for? So it allows, obviously you need to know what that is, of course, but then being able to ask that question to receive that from other people opens up the value factor of, I didn't just get on this call for so-and-so to pitch me. They actually want me to share who I'm looking for, because you never know. Sometimes I have referrals right off the bat that just came to mind because I'm actively networking and connecting people, which is adding more value to who I am, but then to who they are, because I'm like, let me share this with you. Let me share this person. That might be a great connection. But it just takes it further to what you were saying earlier, Helena. It doesn't feel as transactional. It's keep notes, connect people. You may not have somebody ever to connect with this person, but you never know what could pop up. You never know what you may need in the future. And you can keep that line open. And then, by the way, if you ever have an update with what you're doing, a new program launching, a new something that you want to share, you actually have good rapport with these people. And by the way, you're building your email list as you're doing this, which email lists are still golden to have. It really just builds in the value factor, because they're going to leave that meeting knowing, wow, this person actually cared. I got to speak. They shared. It didn't feel pushy. And then the last piece is, they actually wanted to know who's a great connection for me, just in case they come across. You're not making guarantees, any promises, but you never know. And I feel like if more people did that, because I've lived a life of it and I've seen many of my mentors and other people do the same, you leave people better than when you found them. And your network is going to naturally grow, because people want to do business. They want to be connected with people like that. And just be in connection, just in general, with good people. So I'm not sure if you have anything that you'd like to share on that, but that right there is a key piece, that if more people understood that, we would all get what we wanted, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's so important, like you already said, to find the right wordings, to find the narrative, to practice it, write it down, practice it with people that you know, that you trust, in order to fully bring something in 60 seconds, or maybe more if you can add it to a story or something like that. So people understand who you are, what you stand for. And I love these conversations. I have several per week myself, and I call them discovery or exploration calls, depending on. But it is like you say, it is about understanding who we are and genuinely connect, and understanding how we can serve each other. And I always say my spirit in person, but also in business, is abundance, gratitude, and generosity. And if you can live and exchange information and value in that open heart mindset, then crazy things can happen or miracles can happen. It's just that sometimes when we go into connection or we go into conversation, first of all, we try to protect ourselves and we close ourselves because we do not want to share too much. Because maybe, it's competition, especially, especially as female entrepreneurs, it's competition, or they might run away with our idea or whatever that keeps us from sharing. Not saying that you have to be naive, but that keeps us from sharing things and from really expressing interest to co-create or collaborate or to refer or whatever. Basically, the best question that you can ask in these conversations is, how can I support you? And just try that. And you see the faces, people start smiling because that's such a good question. How can I support you? What can I do for you? And then you have a completely different dynamic or energy in the conversation than when you say, yeah, I don't know, and I have to, and this is my, go into these conversations also with a curiosity, a mindset of curiosity, and not like I'm going to say this, I need to know that, I want this to be the outcome. No, just go in as free spirits and build the conversation in the moment instead of preparing everything. Of course, have your if I can call it like that, your pitch prepared, like, so people understand what you do and who you are, and it doesn't take you half an hour to get there. But for the rest, just have the conversation flowing. We have somebody else here, Shayla. I want to network. Where's the best places to get the networking event ads? I have seen some events on Eventbrite. What platform is best to get networking events available for free? Oh, but there are so many. Depends on what you want to do, right? Because there's as many different networking events are there as there are different groups and communities. So, what would be like a general thing that you would advise, Molly?
That is, yes, that is a great question, and depending on the platform that you're on, obviously matters. So every platform kind of has a little bit different feel. I mean, if you're primarily on LinkedIn, you just have to go into, like you said, the groups. Like if there's certain groups you're like, I align with these people and I want to be able to tap into either learn more or obviously possibly find other clients. It can be very group specific. I mean, obviously Facebook has a ton of events. I would say Facebook and LinkedIn probably are going to be the top two as far as for like different free events that are happening all the time. And then you mentioned Eventbrite, where obviously that's in person. And I'm not 100% sure as far as like other in-person networking sites for Kenya and the UK. So I would just keep digging. And this is the entrepreneur in me, and it may not be everybody's favorite answer, but if there aren't networking events out there, they're like, we'll see. I don't really know if I want to be a part of them. If there's not something out there that you're needing, the entrepreneur in me is like, well, go create it.
Yeah,
Go
I
create
love
it.
that.
That may not be
I knew you
everybody's
were going to
answer,
say,
but at the end of the day, sometimes I've even like, you know what? I don't see this. And that's actually where our company Kingdom Alliance came from. There was a need that we needed 5-10 years ago. We found the need. We filled the gap. People are like, oh, I've been looking for this forever. How come it hasn't been around? So when you find something that you need, but nobody's creating it, sometimes it takes that person of like, I'm going to go create it. And now, yes, that obviously there's a lot that comes with that, but weighing out the options of everybody's always looking for different networking events. Everybody's always looking to connect. And when you're the head of that, there's a lot more authority and credibility that even comes with that. And you need that for your business anyways. And you're going to draw people in that are looking for the same event that you were looking for. So if you don't find what you're looking for, you can always be the one to go out there and create it. But there are so many events that are out there. And you just have to be intentional, because when you're in these networking events, in person, whatnot, online, you want to have something that you can give to somebody so they can remember you by, make it memorable, take a photo, do something funny, have an interesting question, like do something that stands out above the rest. So you just don't become another face in the crowd. And that's a really key thing. So otherwise, at the end of the day, when I'm at a networking event, in person or online, I'm trying to recall who's somebody that stands out. And it's typically like they were wearing something, they said something, or if it's in person, we took a picture, which is always good because sometimes you forget.
yeah, I would say also, there's, like you say, so many events online and in person that it is very important to understand which ones you want to participate in, because it is an investment. It's an investment in time and energy, sometimes also in budget. And so be selective and look maybe also for events or for communities that are hybrid. Some have like an online and an in-person possibility. I'm not sure about Africa. In Europe, for example, we have Meetup, and that's a very, very accessible way to find activities and events of like-minded people with a certain purpose, with a certain activity. So that might be a possibility. But if you Google them, it also depends what you want to do. You want to find a network with female entrepreneurs, or you want to find some industry-specific networks, or you want to find something with certain goals. So if you have that clear, then you can start looking. And as you say, Molly, LinkedIn has groups, but they're not really very, very active. I think Facebook groups are a lot more. You can have a lot more activity, and then it is about if you do that, then also like you already said, Molly, do the work. Because if you join like a Facebook group, the first thing that they ask is introduce yourself. And most of the people don't do. Why not? Why not put a nice picture of you with your dog? I do that because I love my dog. So I always
I love it.
notice. Put a nice picture, say who you are, what you do, who you serve, and offer something like we already said, Molly. Maybe especially if you're an entrepreneur and you have a freebie or free samples or you have written an article or you have done something that you can offer already so people can see you from a different side. So it's also, of course, about doing the work. If you go to an in-person event, well, I don't have business cards anymore. I have a QR code with all my information.
Yes.
So have your QR code on your phone. And so if people want to exchange contact information, just get that. They can scan it and they have everything, all your profiles and your contact information and your website and whatever. So be a little bit prepared and be a little bit, like you say, Molly, be a little bit different. Make sure that if you go to a networking event of finance people where you know that they'll probably all be wearing dark gray and blue, wear something pink. So make sure
Yeah.
people see you, that they notice you. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
And have fun. That's the most important one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
And then
last
there's so
part.
many, yeah, there's so many online things that you can do on Zoom. We can put some in the comments also, Molly, because there's some very good ones that are very, very supportive and very, very generous. Depending on where you are, of course. I'm in some American and Canadian networks because they're just great in terms of interactivity. They're amazing. So we can put those in the comments for those who are interested to make like a first introduction into that. Yeah, great question, Sheila. Thank you for that. Yeah,
Yeah. I love that. Yeah, I
wonderful.
wanna kind of piggyback on the having fun part. Like we have to have fun while we're doing this. If we're not
Yeah.
having fun, then what are we doing? And it doesn't mean every aspect of it is fun, but as we meet people, it shouldn't be something that's terrifying and scary. It's just you're introducing who you are, you're introducing what is it you do, how you can serve, and if it's for them, great. And so many people overthink it and they think it has to be perfect. It doesn't. It absolutely doesn't. But people are waiting to get to know you. And so, like we've been talking about, stand out and do something a little bit different. Because if you don't, then your business is just going to stay the same. I talk
Mm,
with a lot of people where their expectations of where they want their business to be versus what they're doing and how they're growing and stepping outside of their comfort zone. It's so different. Like even just the question of what are you doing your business for? Like why did you create it or why are you a part of it? What is your goal by this time next year? I love asking that question. Unfortunately, a lot of people can't answer that, but I love asking it to at least get their brain thinking because so many people just think of, I just need to get through the week or the month or the next 6 months, but can't even think a year in advance. There's a lot of people, successful people, where it's like you have to, think a couple years, 5, 10 years in advance, if possible. Obviously, things are going to
mm,
shift and change, but it's key to
mm.
really be able to focus on why you're even doing that so it can push you
It's,
forward in the moments that you maybe don't feel like it when you're out there networking and talking with people. And then understanding
mm,
just have fun. They're just people at the end of the day, just like you and me.
exactly. They're just people. Absolutely. Yeah. And also for people who don't have their own business, who are building their careers in corporates, it's about understanding what you're good at and also have your story
Yes.
ready. If you have a problem with that, you know what you can do? You can ask some people that work with you some questions like, can you do this for me just to get my, to get myself clear? Like, what is it that you really like about me? What is it that you really value about me? What do you think are my biggest successes? And have other people, three or four, have other people telling you what they like about you and what they value about you and what you have been doing for them or how impactful you have been for them. You will be surprised, I promise you. You will be surprised. And it's such a nice exercise, but these are things that you can use because this will give you a clear view, a better view of how people perceive you.
Yeah.
Because we don't only always know that. We have a lot of blind spots. And we don't only have blind spots in terms of things that we could do better, areas of improvement. We have even more blind spots sometimes about the things that we do good, that we are successful at, because we are so hard on ourselves and we don't know how to celebrate our successes. So ask some other people and, think of three or four questions and send it out via email to three or four people. And you will have tons of information that some will be like, oh, yeah, I knew that. And other will be, oh, wow, is this how they look at me? And you might even have a reason for conversations with those people in order to go a little bit deeper or to add something to that relationship. It is about asking again. Because we are so afraid to ask, we are so afraid to get feedback because it might be negative, but most of the times it's positive. We don't have to think that everything is going to be bad or sad or challenging. There's so many things that come at us that are positive. So we can really call those things on us, right? Does that make sense, Molly?
Yes, I love that you said that. And I would say most people, if they do want to say something negative, um, there's very few people that actually will probably say something negative to your face unless they really love you. And I wouldn't look at it as negativity. I would hope that these people are giving feedback, right? A lot of people will call it criticism, but I like to call it feedback. Because constructive criticism, I'm like, we're hard critics on ourselves.
Yeah.
So, and then you have to understand whoever's sharing that feedback with you or something that may be kind of hard to hear, is there any truth to that? Instead of getting offended, is there truth to that? So I love that you took that step of, hey, let's go ask some people and get some of that feedback from others because this is how I'm being perceived. Because if we never do that, how do we actually know? So I love that you
Mm.
went
Yeah, beautiful. And actually, Sheila is asking us how to deal with imposter syndrome. While asking other people could already help a little bit, but thank you so much for bringing that question up. That is a question that is coming up so often. Although there are voices that say it doesn't exist, to me it does exist. I mean, it's not exactly a syndrome, that's just terminology, but a lot of us think like, who do we think we are? Why
there.
would we do that? What will people think? It has already been done. I will make mistakes. There's so many things going through our heads. This inner critic, these inner voices that are so harsh. We would never talk to anybody else like that, but we do it to
Yes.
ourselves. So any views on that, Molly? Imposter syndrome.
Yes, I
We
have
are
a
going we are going for another 2 hours.
I know. This is a really good I'm glad that well, I'll try to sum it up here. This is a really great question, and I'm gonna give a bold answer, regardless of people's beliefs. But when you think of it this way, we are God's highest form of creation. We are the highest form of creation. Like when we think, who am I? Why not you? Shift the question.
Yes,
Why
yes,
not
yes.
me? And then start mapping out the answers as to why not me. We tend to check our bank account, the follower count, all these other things that the world says we need to have all these ticked off before we could even think that we have the opportunity. You are living, you are breathing, you are the highest form of creation. And there's a reason, there's a drive and a desire inside of your heart as you're doing what you're doing. Or there's just a drive of a motivation of some sort. You need to press into that because those voices are the only voices to keep you small when you just need to break the ceiling and the sky's the limit. So the question
Mm,
again, instead of why me? Why not me?
yeah, absolutely. I love that. I love that. And what I would like to add to that is that imposter syndrome is also basically something that you are relating to standards that are set by whoever, right? And I don't know about you, Molly, and I don't know about you who are watching this or listening. I am such a big fan of success on your terms. You are the one who is defining what is success. You are the one who is defining what is good service for you. I mean, you have that um, sense of discernment to understand. And success for some people is a big car and a big title and a lot of money on the bank. And for other people, it is about raising their children and educating them and making them very responsible citizens. And for other people, success is doing whatever they want, have freedom to read books and to travel. So define success on your terms, and your imposter syndrome will also disappear because you are the standards for what you are bringing to the world. And if you do that in an authentic and genius way, and of course, focused on serving others, you will feel how this will land with other people. And that will be the energy that is driving you, that interaction, that connection, instead of, being blocked by something that is created by by a system and by a series of standards that are not ours. Right. So I
Mm.
hope that helps, Sheila. Let
Yeah,
us
I,
know.
I want to piggyback on that really quick. I love everything that you said. And a lot of people too with this imposter syndrome, you just continue to stay consistent. Share with people who it is that you have changed into be or who you are now. A lot of people hold you to who you were rather than who you've become. So when you show them who you are and what you do and how you serve, it still won't be for some people, but it will be for others. And the more you stand on that and you start to really solidify, this is who I am, this is what I do, and I'm going to share it with everyone, no matter if it's for them or not. Because remember, it may be for you or somebody that you know, like that is going to open the door to so many different possibilities. But that syndrome is meant to keep people small, because if enough people play small, then there's the ones that are doing it, they get the bigger pot when there's so much more out there for everybody to share. So I love that you said that, and just that the whole like consistency breeds credibility. Just keep going, and the more consistent you are and the more dedicated you are to the dream, the drive, whatever it is that you're doing, the organization that you're growing, whatever it may be, whatever industry that you're in, like people will see that through and through. But oftentimes we shrink back because why me? Do people really want to see this? Well, why not you? And why not show them this? Because the internet's full of plenty of things that I think a lot of people could care less to watch and see. So why not your story and bring them along the journey? I mean, why not?
Mhm. Absolutely. Absolutely. And this is also about celebrating your successes. Understand that what you do, you don't have to shy it away. You don't have to push it away. A lot of us, when people, even you're sometimes very reluctant to receive compliments. When people are celebrating something that we did, we say, well, it's nothing. It's normal. It's what we do. No, celebrate it. Accept feedback, accept celebrations, accept positivity, and say, yeah, thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. I really appreciate it. And understand that your successes are also, they always say failures are your building stones for success, but successes and celebrating them are also your building stones for success and for confidence, and build on those. We
Yeah.
are not enough aware of how many things that we do good and how many things that we achieve and how many things how much impact we have on other people. And that's why this question, asking other people these things, opens your eyes and probably also open your heart, and will help you to get away from that imposter syndrome and really come to the world and come to the table and come into interactions with what you have and with your gifts and your talents and your strengths, and feel the fun, feel the joy of doing that. And that's amazing.
Yes,
Yeah.
I agree. I
One last
agree.
thing before we close, Molly. Anything that you feel we should be sharing today?
We covered so many great things. I mean, at the end of the day, we just get to, I mean, in a sense, get out of our own way and just get out there and just start sharing. I mean, so many people need
Mm,
what we have, and to really be able to build your network, and everyone, no matter who you are, even if it's just collecting new friends, everybody wants to
mm,
have a network of some sort, no matter what the connections they need, whatever they may be. So I just want to encourage you, just what are you going to do today after watching this? like how many people are you going to start relationships with, or you can go check back in with, or just be bold with and just start the conversation and just share. Because at the end of the day, like you even mentioned so many times, so great, Helena, it's like, I would love to get some feedback. How did this come off? Like share with me your experience of me. And don't fear the feedback. Just embrace it, because it's only meant to make you better. And most people will do it in a loving way, because they would want that done for them, right? They would want that done for them. So thank you so much for having me on your show and being able to just share something I'm very passionate about, to help people grow their network, to increase their net worth. And I'm just excited to serve people in this regard, because there's so many people out there that want to connect with you. They just haven't heard about you, of you, from you yet.
Absolutely. Molly, you also have a freebie to share, right? I will put it here on the screen. What is it and how can people get there?
Yeah. So as I mentioned, Grow Your Network to Increase Your Net Worth actually is an academy that we created inside of our community. But one of the freebies that I wanted to gift that she'll put in the comments here, it's something called the 24-hour sneak peek. So inside of our membership community, there's a wide variety of professional and even personal development resources that people can opt into. And if you do want more information of the academy, you're more than welcome to reach out. And all of the, I think, information will be in the show notes, including an email. But we're more than happy to help you of like, I need a little bit more assistance in that area. There's even a really great course that you could even take for free inside of our VIP access area called Bonjour Branding, that talks about even a deeper level of branding that our members pay for. But with this 24-hour access, you could actually go through that within 24 hours, I am sure, and you have that for free. So there's a lot that you can just take for yourself from this free gift here. We did that on purpose to just show the value and to give back. And if it's something where you're like, you know what, I would love to actually take a step deeper into it, there's a lot of different ways that you can. So that is my gift to you. And Helena, thank you for being a gift to all the listeners and myself, of just being able to have this show and deliver just lots of value here today.
It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure. Molly, one last question. What is the best platform to join you? Is that LinkedIn? Is that Facebook? Is that Instagram?
I
Where
would
can I find you?
say I need to be better about being on LinkedIn more. I would say Facebook and Instagram are probably like an even split. You can find me on there, Molly Trotter-Gomez on Facebook, or Molly_Trotter on Instagram. Feel free to reach
Beautiful.
out. Let me know you heard on this show, like this information, and if anything stood out to you, if you have any more information about those resources that we're sharing with that free gift. So yes, I would love to hear from you and what you got from the show today.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Molly, for your generosity. Thanks for everybody listening in. Everything will be in the comments and in the show notes if you're watching the replays or you're listening to the replay. So thanks for being here. Thanks for
Thank you.
showing up. Thanks for being open to learn and to see how you can bring your gifts to the world. We're waiting for that. We need more of that. So thank you so much. Take care. Have a great day. Bye.